Hey guys, I have a TCG player affiliate link now, so if you guys ever want cards, sleeves, packs, or anything of that nature, use my affiliate link to support the channel down in the description. Hey, what's up guys? It's MetaGamesGX here, and we're going to be doing a review, really another branded locals experience from a stream the other week with a new build that is post-Banlist with dualities. We're actually back on that because I think it's really good for the meta. We actually did fairly well at this locals, so I wanted to review the games and go over what I did right, what I did wrong, and my thoughts and through the matchup so you guys can get some insight on how to really just play Despia and like certain things, interactions, and maybe we can figure out what I could have done better. So with that being said, check out my links below for the TCG player, Twitter, Discord. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. We get normal summon a Luber. We're going against Danger Dark World here, which is not one of the most fun matchups. We go normal summon a Luber in main phase, and then we go branded opening into Quem. Now here isn't really the most optimal line because we are slightly playing into Nib here, but we'll see where we're going. I'm right now sending off a Quem. We are going to decide to send the Cartesia, and then we're going to go straight for the Brand Fusion. Now, in this build, we run 3 Cartesia, so I do like having multiple Cartesias in the graveyard, but we do have the Lubellion here, and we're going to go Chainlink 1 Lubellion, Chainlink 2 Quem to get the Cartesia. Now, in hand, I believe I did have the Cross out just in case he imperm. This is not normally a play that I would go down without having the Cartesia to back it up or branded loss, unless you have an out to imperm for what is worth. So, and I also had the out for Nibiru that way. So we have Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon, and we are going to go out for that for the gimmick lock, obviously, and then we keep the Albion on board so we can go Lubellion Tribute and then get the branded loss to search out the Mercurier since we already have the Cartesia out. This is really good opening that we have here because now I have the multiple negates here, and he basically scoops it up because he sees that, you know, I'm gonna have the gimmick lock, and then he goes first. I don't know what deck he's on against, but you know, I have a lot of hand traps in this build, so it's gonna be fine. But then I see the Ken and Jen come out, and so I just presume we're going against Dark World, and you know, I would be correct when he starts showing me the engine, and I see the Silva already, so it's going to be likely that I get hand looped here, so I kind of just played out for a minute to see what's going on. That's usually what happens, because sometimes Danger Dark World can just brick or the person won't know how to combo correctly. But once they get the first Silva in, it's usually just the case that they're going to do the whole thing, so I typically just scoop by that point. Maybe that's a bad play. You guys can let me know down in the comments, because it's something where unless you see Droll, like even Nibiru doesn't do the job, and I scoop here and we go game 3. Droll's the only card that really does anything against Dark World. It's really hard to go against second against them. I really wish that it would get banned, but you know, or Silva would get limited or something. So we go normal summon Cartesia so we can dodge the imperm on the branded opening from a Luber. Really standard stuff, obviously, and then we go branded fusion. We're going to be really able, I'm deciding if I'm going wide or simple with this one, because at this point I don't have the cross out, but I do want to get the branded loss, and we do have the Cartesia to dodge the imperm. So I go Chainlink 1 Albion, then Chainlink 2 Cartesia, so I can put the Spellcaster in graveyard for Albion to banish for the Sanctifier. So we are technically playing Nibiru here, but either way I would have had to, so this way I at least get the branded loss for the uninterrupted gimmick lock next turn with the Albion in graveyard, so I can have a branded red follow-up on top of the Guignol, and now I have a branded opening in my hand, so I could set that also to get a Quem out on my opponent's turn. I feel like I did this pretty optimally given the fact he's on Danger Dark World. Obviously you could have Bestials or Ghost Spell at this point. That's what I'm really hoping not to see, and so I go for the gimmick lock in draw phase, but we go for the branded in red because that's what you want to do under loss. A lot of people won't know this, where if you go for the fusion under loss and then chain Sanctifier, they obviously can't respond, so it's an uninterrupted gimmick lock, and that's why I do targeting with the Sanctifier. He lets it go through. A lot of people, you'll just get a lot of free wins off of that fact alone, because a lot of people will have cards that they can chain, but they don't realize that that's what's happening at the time. So definitely recommend doing that in your branded gameplay. From this moment on, I basically win. Like, there's not a whole lot when he's set passing, but he is going to go Danger Big Fun. I'm not even going to waste my Mercurier on that, I'm going to be honest. And then he goes for Grapha to pop a card. I'm like, okay, you can I was like debating if I want to save my Mirror Jade. I don't have the branded opening in graveyard, so I'm just going to discard the Mercurier on that, just to try not to get the Mirror Jade to get popped there. And he does go for the talents, and that's why we summon all these monsters in defense position. The Mercurier did turn on the talons, unfortunately, but the Mirror Jade's not doing much, and he thought he could put it to attack position this turn, and I think he basically loses off of that misplay, and then that is the game. So our first game against Danger Dark World goes pretty well. All right, so game 2 of the locals, we're going in a branded mirror match, except it's branded Chimera, and I'm on branded, obviously. However, you can see the Mirror Sword Knight with the Imperm with the Ash, which is pretty crazy opening, all things considered. But you'll see what's kind of interesting about this first game. So I go Deployment for Cartesia for Quem to dodge the Imperm, obviously. And Quem Cartesia is really, really good. It's a way to play around Imperm, because Imperming the Cartesia or Quem is not as good as Imperming the Aluber, so that's what this build is trying to do. Not just lose to Aluber, normal summon, and we get the Aluber to search out the Branded Loss, I believe. Or no, the Brand Fusion, then we go Brand Fusion, then he has the Ash, and then we go Cartesia. And I think he's thinking here he's going to let that through, and then I'm going to get the Grand Guignol. I go Chainlink 1 Grand Guignol, Chainlink 2 Quem, targeting the Cartesia. He allows it through, which is pretty crazy having the Imperm in hand, but that's, I guess, fair. He's probably trying to save it for something else, I suppose. But, like, he has the Maximus here. He's going to let that through, obviously. And this is the point where I see he's unbranded, obviously. And he sends the Sprite and Albion. That's pretty bad, honestly. Because he's going to be able to fuse off one of my monsters and get into the Mirror Jade. So we go into the end phase, Albion. I'm like, well, I need to do something to prevent him from doing that. But I don't have a whole lot. So we set Brand Red and then get Cartesia to hand, and then gets Albion effect to get Brand Fusion, then the kit to hand, which is really surprising to me. I thought he was going to go Albaz there. He would have been able to get free Mirror Jade off of that, so I think that was just a misplay by my friend. So we see Droll in hand with Albaz and a few other cards. Not the most optimal playing second, I guess, going into a board hand, but he certainly has plays, and then he has Imperm dodge for the Cartesia. So I guess that makes sense. Maybe he could stop the Dracostapelia, and then we go... And then he goes Albaz effect, pitching the Droll, and I have the Imperm actually for the Albaz, which is really huge. And then he goes Branded Fusion, and the Branded Fusion is going to be really good here for him, because he's gonna have the be able to go into Albion. I don't have the Ash for him, unfortunately, and so he's going to go Albion Chainlink. I'll go Quem Chainlink 2 probably, I'm thinking, on this. Since the card did leave the extra deck, this is something that I have to consider. I'm like, I get the Fallen of Albaz Albion, because on field it's considered Albaz, so I can kind of go into Mirror Jade here with well, I mean, if Cartesia could actually do something here is the thing, but we're going to be able to go Grand Guignol, obviously, to banish, to special summon a Luluwal Lilith. I felt like was my best option here. We could have went Quem or Despia, but Despia doesn't, or Aquarius doesn't do anything, and so I went Lulu because it would at least be an effect negate and put something in my graveyard and kind of just like bait the Mirror Jade. So that's why I went to. I felt like it was my best option there. This is actually going to go into quite the grind game, as you guys are going to see. It's a really good. These matches are tough. I go Branded Red here, so I'm debating on making the Guardian Chimera or what I'm making. I do have the Rinbrum in graveyard with no Albaz, unfortunately, so we're going to go the Guardian Chimera route. Banishing 2 on field, 1 in hand, and then we go Guardian Chimera 1, Lulu 2, targeting the Mirror Jade, and then he's going to chain Mirror Jade to banish the Chimera, and then I will destroy those his 2 fusions just to get them out of the way, and then Mirror Jade effect, obviously. And then the board state's kind of simplified, but we both have a lot of stuff engraved. He has a bit more than me at this point, but he'll set and just like attack over with Albaz, and then he will just go end phase, get his effects off, and then I will go end phase. You lose Lulu effect since it's engrave, so I can get the Cartesia. Oh wait, no, I didn't even do that. Wow, I'm really bad. I could have used Lulu effect to get out Cartesia there. That's a straight up misplay. But at least I'll have the Shroud Dragon to send the Retribution at least, so I could get the Branded Fusion, and I have a lot of plays here. But we just noticed that misplay, folks. So definitely a good thing that we pointed that out. We go normal summon Cartesia, and then we go Brand Fusion, send the Albaz. Thinking here on what we're going to be summoning, it's the Lubellion. I think I sent the Dark Magician there. Yep, it looks like Dark Magician. Dark Magician, Dragoon just solves a lot of issues. Really do love running the hard Dark Magician, but we're just gonna go. I'm gonna have the Dark Magician in the graveyard just in case for the grind game. But right now I'm gonna make the Mirror Jade. You can't really see it with the flashy light, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'm gonna send Titanclad to try bait the Stepelia, and then I'll go. And he does the brand banishment was there, which I'm able to get rid of, fortunately. And then he goes Guardian Chimera off of Chimera Fusion, destroys the Cartesia and gets a draw 2, which, you know, I have Titanclad in graveyard, now I have Cartesia. This is the grind game of Branded. If you're able to loop Cartesias and just, you know, use the most of all your fusions, don't overload them, just save them for your grind game, you're really able to go grind for grind. Like, I just had a 45-minute game 1 against Labyrinth the other day at Locals. I wish I had recorded it, but, like, Labyrinth is currently the grindest deck, and I was able to go bar for bar with that deck. So I end on Draco Stepelia, Mirror Jade, which is just, let me just rewind, because this is a really poor in play here. So we go, it's his turn, after popping my stuff, and then we'll go in the end phase Titanclad. Sorry, my turn, and we can go into the Albaz here. He has the Chimera, and I'm gonna fuse off. We can make the Stepelia here, which is incredible here in a really simplified board state. And I'm like, I just chained Stepelia here on the Gazelle because, like, the worst case he would have his Chimera Fusion to dodge it, but I don't think he did. And I called his bluff. He basically has no play here, and it's gonna end up not going off. And then he goes Branded Fusion. However, I'd still think that the Stepelia negate is really good, but he goes Rinbrum. I'm like, what is he trying to do? I thought he was going to go something better, but, you know, that's the downside to Chimera. It doesn't run that extensive of a Despia branded end deck, and then he ends on Rinbrum, and he passes with Mirror Jade on deck with Stepelia, with Mirror Jade just getting its banish again. It's really crazy. I have an amazing. This is why Stepelia is so important, actually, in the extra deck, because it's just able to control it in a really simplified game state. Also, Mirror Jade, as you guys see, I only need one Mirror Jade. He's using his Mirror Jades a bit more liberally. My Mirror Jade's just kind of like, I go into it when I need to, but it's not necessary. Like, it's usually not my first route to success. I feel like there's a lot of other options to go into Mirror Jade before that. You exhaust the Gimmick Puppet route, then you go Mirror Jade, then you go Stepelia, then you go Guardian Chimera, then you go Stepelia, and anything in between that needs to happen while cycling the other fusions. And that's game 1, guys. And then we go game 2. That was a really long game 1, so we're gonna have to be fast. He goes Mirror Sword Knight, goes into the Baphomet. I do have Nib in hand though, so that's gonna definitely help out here. I don't think I have Ash here, or else I would have, or no, I have the Ghost Bell, and I try Ghost Bell the Chimera Fusion, but that's just my misplay. So I guess you cannot actually Ghost Spell the Chimera Fusion, and then he goes Chimera to get the Baphomet 1, and then the Gazelle 2 and 3. He's going to get a lot of advantage off of here, but I'm definitely going to be able to make him play into Nib. He gets the special summon, the Mirror Sword Knight, search the Mirror Sword Knight. He does have a Imperm in hand, as we can say, plus a Branded Fusion, which is definitely going to help him out. He does get the Codal. Then we get the Branded Fusion out, and he doesn't run Dragoon in this build, apparently, so we don't have to worry about Dragoon, which really isn't that great in the mirror match, but definitely can, in some choke points, really does make the difference. He does have the Lubellion, actually, which is interesting. He's playing more of a Despia variant, too, with the Chimera stuff, so I'm not sure if he's running Lost in here. But I go Nib, and he basically has to set the Imperm, and that is a really good turn skip here. He does get the discard of the Branded Opening, which isn't the best, but we do have the normal summon of the Luber. We get the search of Branded Fusion. I'm really surprised he let that through with the Imperm. I'm gonna be honest. And then we get the Branded Fusion, and then I get Imperm columned on the Branded Fusion, guys. I'm a bozo, so that basically almost lost me that round. Then he goes Branded and Red, and I actually, no, that did lose me that round. And so guys, don't get Imperm columned. That was like such an embarrassing thing that happened there, so but it is what it is. So let's go into game 3, or we go Cartesian, normal summon, Branded Fusion out into Albaz and Lubellion. Then we go Albion to dodge the Imperm with Cartesia, obviously, and then we go Cartesia 2 so we can get the Spellcaster in graveyard, get that uninterrupted Lost Gimmick Puppet, which is gonna come up here, guys. He doesn't realize it, so Make sure you pay attention to this. And then we go Nadir Servant, send Garura. This is actually probably what I should have done is I should have made Dragoon. Actually, usually what my play is to make Dragoon, then go Nadir Servant, because at that point you can usually make the Sanctifier and then have the Dragoon. So I'm not sure why I did that there. I think I was just trying to go fast there for time, unfortunately, but definitely should have made the Dragoon, I think. But I think this way was still fine since he didn't have the nib, but like I could have gotten nibbed on the strategy, so definitely try to go for the Stepalia and then the Nadir Servant to Sanctifier. And so we have a really full board here, but we have the red to clear it up and make Gimmick Puppet live. We do have the Gimmick Puppet in Graveyard, we have a Quem, we have a live Albion and Sanctifier with a Brand Red under Lost. So we're gonna go draw phase, target Brandon Red with the and also we got over his fusion effects at the end phase, obviously, but we go Brand Red target. We targeted Albaz, I believe, and he lets it through, which is just crazy to me, because like if he does have something, I believe he has a Crow, and now I'm able to uninterrupt a Gimmick Lock because of Brandon Lost being on the board and it being Chainlink 1, even if it's on his turn, since he didn't have Chainlink 2, and he had the Bestial in hand, so he just scoops basically. So yeah, he could have had something there, unfortunately. And that's why, like, I probably should have went down the Dragoon route. So here's my game 3. It's against another branded Chimera mirror match, which is pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I go first. Don't have the best hand though. Our best thing, we have like Nadir Servant and Cartesia Normal Summon is the weakest opening here that we see, and I get ashed on the Nadir, but we go cross out at least, so I can send the Garura and then get the Maximus. I don't know what he's on at this point. I should have known he's on Chimera actually, but then we go Maximus. We send the Lulu and the Albion, really just like to get the full ass Gimmick Pup, or no, we said get. I send Lulu and Albion so I can at least get the Quem in the end phase to get the Albaz to do the Gimmick Lock. However, he has Albion as well, which is going to be an issue. So he goes end phase Brand Fusion. I do Brand Red. As long as he doesn't have an out, I should be able to do this here. However, you guys will see what happens. I set the Super Poly in the Brand Red. Then he goes Normal Summon Fenrir Red. Oh, he went Brand Red, but he called by me. He had called by, so he's just built different. And then he goes, I imperm the Fenrir. And then we go Grand Guignol here after he went Mirror Sword Knight, and at least we send the Albion for follow-up. I do have the Quem, but it's not going to do a whole lot here, but because now he has talents to take the Guignol, and then he goes Chimera Fusion using off my Guignol for the Magnum the Reliever, which is a really cool card. You don't see it all the time in Chimera, however, I think it's a pretty good card. It's good for the grind game. He's getting back the Chimera Fusion. My man has just so much gas. The mirror match is hard against Chimera because they just are able to run a lot of non-engine, and then they you know, just have it just depends, you know. He does draw cracked, and Caleb's a killer player, so it happens. So he goes into Chimera, and then I go Guignol, so I can at least try to get something, but he stops it. And then he passes, he discards a card out of my hand. It's not the greatest. We have a couple cards I might be able to play out of this. Honestly, it's not the worst situation. It depends on what his card in hand is, obviously. So we're gonna go Normal Summon Cartesia, and then we go Branded Fusion. I mean, the Magnum Reliever is an issue, plus with the Fenrir, obviously. It's definitely an outable situation with the cards that we have, but it just depends, because we did draw the Gimmick Puppet, which sucks. That's the downside to main decking, is when you draw it, you know, when you don't need it. But we try to go Dragoon here, which is probably not the best idea, honestly. We should just try to go for a Mirror Jade angle, to be honest, and just like force interactions, and at least clears board, and then he destroys the Cartesia, and we're gonna go into the Dragoon, so we can at least try to pop something. It's not the best play, to be honest, here. And then he Fenrir banishes my Lubellion, which is not good. And then we go Aluber Effect to target the Magnum the Reliever, and I think he is able to negate that. It was a little confusing what just happened there, to be honest, but however, we're just gonna go with it. I do have to pass, though. I don't have too much other resources. I'm hoping the Dragoon in a simplified game state does it, but I feel like we could have been less sloppy here. If we just had like one better draw, it really would have just been an easier situation, way easier situation to go around. And I just concede there once he goes into the Mirror Jade. And then we're going to go first. We go a Luber normal summon, which isn't the best when we don't have a Cartesia. That's one of those hands that we lose to just like an Imperm or an Ash. So that's exactly what happens. And he goes Kodal, normal summon, and then special summon out the Mirror Sword. And I think we have the Imperm at least, so I'm hoping that... But he has the Chimera Fusion, so that was probably a misplay, to be honest. Maybe I should have waited for something there, but like that would have given him too much advantage, to be honest. Like if he didn't have the Chimera Fusion, you know, he just hard opened is what it is. I think that was still correct. Chimera Fusion goes off. He's gonna go for the Guardian Chimera, or no, he's not. He's gonna go for the one guy and the other fusion, which is basically an OTK machine. But I do have the Nibiru. He has the cross out for Nibiru, which is crazy, honestly. And then he goes, honestly, that Nibiru would have saved me, but like, he had the cross out, so it is what it is. He has actually 2 crossouts in hand, which is like insane in the mirror match. Like, it's one of those cards that goes so hard, and crossouts kind of like, I prefer thrust, and I prefer like, you know, just other cards like duality, but because they just give you more advantage. But it's a really good card when you're running a hand trap package like I am. I was running basically every good hand trap, Nib, Troll, Ash, and Imperm. I go normal summon Albaz effect. He is going to be able to, and then he negates that with cross out, call Albaz, which is crazy. And then I'm gonna go Branded Fusion at least he didn't cross out my Branded Fusion. That would have just been embarrassing. I go Lubellion into that Albion, and then we are going to go, and then he's gonna go Mirror Sword Knight to negate, which is actually what I completely forgot about. And he's going to be able to do a lot of other things because of that. Or then he goes Guardian Chimera, and that's basically game from there. Like, I kind of just misplayed. I probably should have went Sanctifier and then attacked over and then played on his turn, to be honest. But yeah, that was the locals, guys. I went 2-1. We'll have it build out. Please let me know if you guys like this kind of content. Would love to do more game reviews. Locals experiences. I'm Branded Despia. Remember, check out my TCG Player affiliate link. Please bookmark it. Use it for your TCG Player orders if you want to support this channel free in a free way. No additional cost to your orders for pack sleeves and cards. Also, make sure to check out our live streams. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. Tuesday and Saturday are locals, and then Monday is just ranked games and other just talking with chat. We also stream other days, but it just is sporadic. Besides that, we're on the road to 3K now, so make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment what you thought about this video, and see you guys later. Have a good day.